Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from. My name is NCK2310. Yes, welcome for the returning subscribers. Thank you so much for always coming and giving me your time. I do appreciate. And for those that are new, feel welcomed as well. Those watching at the back, you're also welcomed. Yes, on this channel, I do deal with scrutinizing and analyzing songs, and I deal with gospel songs, I deal with Mugidi, which are party songs, and political songs. Yes, that's what we do here. And I actually dwell a lot from Kikuyu songs in English. We do this program in English. Sometimes I quote a little bit Kikuyu words, but this program is in English. Yes, so we do scrutinize and analyze songs so that we're gonna learn 1, 2, 3 things. And this channel is to motivate, to inspire, to make sure that we can learn 1, 2, 3 things. That's what we do here. And today, without wasting any time, let's dive in. Today, I've prepared our political song, which we're gonna scrutinize and analyze what the song says. Because, hey, I am from Kenya, and Kenya is my business because that's my country. So we dwell around with these also political songs, which are from Kenya. Yes, so welcome. Without me wasting any time, let me start to read what the song says. It's a very touching song. The song says, there are things that can't just be ignored. There are things that can't be forgotten. A house can be burnt down to ashes. Then one can build another one, even a better one. But what can you do if one eliminates your child? So this song is telling of a story, what happened in Kenya. That was in 2007, 2008. A day or the years that we will never forget. And especially as Kenyans in whole, we'll never forget it. We know that we have a lot of tribes in Kenya, 42 or something like that. And there were that time tribal crashes. It was heartbreaking because we lost, a lot of lives were lost for our innocent Kenyans. Every time I think about this, I still, up to today, after so many years, I still have tears in my eyes. Because I do remember, even if I was by then living in Germany, I do remember that time that for us people who are in the diaspora, we had it so rough as well. Because we could only get the news from maybe CNN or BBC or something like that. Those years, there was no TikTok, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook. So we were only relying on the news there. And we know how it was before in Kenya. They used to hide all the news that the international community could not get into the news. So you could just get little news from CNN here and there that in Kenya there is war. That was 2007, 2008. It was a hard time. And I still do remember that for us Kenyans who are in the diaspora, our work was to cry. Whether when we went to work, it was just crying. We were home, we're just crying because we didn't know what we could do. We didn't know if our family members, if our friends, if our neighbors are still alive or not. It was a hard time for all Kenyans. And this time, we will never forget it. Let's continue on with the song. The song says, big cries were heard. Just like in the homes of Ramah, a little bit in the Bible, when Rakairi children were being eliminated. There is no greater pain that was felt more than what happened in Kiambaa when our children were being eliminated. When I hear the name Kiambaa up to today, tears comes in my eyes And a lot of Kenyans up to today, when they hear the name Kiambaa, they have tears in their eyes. We know that I knew growing up, there used to be also a place called Kiambaa in Kiambu, but this Kiambaa, this was in the Rift Valley. When catastrophic elimination of innocent Kenyans happened. Nobody will ever forget that. And whenever something comes up in Kenya, like these last times when our agencies were being killed, when so many terrible things happened, that even yesterday, a young boy, 17-year-old boy, was also shot by the police. You know, all these things that are happening in Kenya, they open these woods for us. What happened between 2007 and 2008? Because the perpetrators, those that caused that chaos, those that burned our children alive, they're still roaming around in Kenya. They're still holding the highest position in the country. They're still the ones robbing and steal from our Kenyan people after killing so many innocent Kenyans. They're still free up to today when we're talking. Let's continue on with the song. It's a very touching song. It's a very old song. The song says, "Why touch innocent children? Someone who can't beat or abuse you." That's a question we have to ask you. We have to ask all those criminals that killed our innocent Kenyans, that are still killing our innocent Kenyans up to today. Why do that? Why target innocent youths? Why target innocent children? Kenyans still need answers. The song says, "We forgive them, but we can never forget." Because that pain can't allow us to forgive them, to forget it. It was and is still too much pain in our hearts. You know, up to today, we Kenyans, we've never forgotten and we will never forget. And this is a story we will keep to tell our generations, because some of those who are lately born, our youths, those years they were not yet there, we can just continue to tell them. And that's why it's very important for us parents to continue informing our children what happened in 2007, 2008. We cannot just ignore, because some people want us not to tell that story. Some people want us to forget that horrific story, and it's not possible. That's why I am here to tell in English, so that each and every youth in Kenya who don't understand their mother tongue, either Kikuyu language or Luo language or Kalenjin language or Luya or whichever, all the languages in Kenya, the Maasais. There are some people who are born in the town, in the cities. They don't understand the mother tongues. And so you have to know in English as well that it was tough. And that's why when we see all these things happening in our country, we get worried, because we know what happened in 2007, 2008. Our people are still mourning. Our Kenyans have never healed, and we will never heal, because it was so horrific. The song says, that day was just like any other day. No one had planned to lose a child. If mom knew that the child would be burnt, she could have rescued her or him in time. You know, the writer is writing about what happened that morning in Kamba. It was horrific. And those criminals that did that, they never want to talk about it. Whenever anybody mentions about it, they are told, hey, that's the past. Let's look ahead. Which ahead? Look today what's happening in our country. Since 2007, 2008, how many of our innocent Kenyans have been assassinated and killed? Many, thousands. Thousands and thousands and thousands. And this still going on. So how can the Kenyans forget what happened in 2007, 2008? Because it's still happening. No one deserves to be killed. You know, with this song, I know that many times I write from Kikuyu to English. I do this when checking around what the song says. But this is one of the hardest song. Because just imagine, up to today, the people who lost their loved ones. We Kenyans, we lost so many lives. We've never healed. We will never heal. Because the same officials, they are still committing the same on our Kenyan people. How can we forget? Let's continue on with the song. The song says, poverty is bad because it's what makes us wake up early from the bed. Parents had woken up early in the morning, leaving their children in bed so that they could go to vote. It's telling the story what happened 2007, 2008. You know, the grown-ups woke up early in the morning, left their kids home, and they went to vote. They went to the ballots. And remember, for us Kenyans, it's our right, of course, to go for an election, general elections, which are usually in Kenya every 5 years. And it's the right of the Kenyans to go and vote to whoever they think is the right person to rule the country. And as the song says, the voters woke up early, they all went to vote. They left their children home because, hey, our Kenyans, so good in voting. They always wake up early in the morning. And those of us who live in the diaspora, we usually take flights, which are not cheap, flying back home to Kenya to vote. Because we love our country. That's why we vote. That happened. And after the voting, you know, like most of us who are in the diaspora, most of us just go vote and take the next flight back. Most of us, every 5 years, when we come for voting in Kenya, just come for voting and then fly back because of our work, that we have to continue working. But we never let our Kenyans down. We are always at the ballot. Because Kenya is our country. That's why we can never ignore when it comes to voting. So if you're there in the diaspora, remember, voting is important. You cannot just stay there at the back, just making noise. You don't vote. If you had given away a long time ago your citizenship as a Kenyan, you know very well, since the 2010 new constitution, that you can have two citizenship as a Kenyan. But you are in the diaspora, you've never regained back your citizenship. I think it's a shame. You don't love your country. I wouldn't listen to you when you're saying anything, because if you love the country, why you don't take back your citizenship? Why you don't go and vote, for example? And you're just making noise out there. It doesn't bring anything. You don't bring anything to the table for our Kenyans, for our Kenyan country. Anyway, the song says, they went early to vote, and they were voting, as it's always done, so that the rich politicians, because it's like the rich Kenyan politicians believe that the country belongs to them. They never give chances for other people. They only believe only them with their wealth can continue to rule Kenya. And at that time, the Kenyans decided to vote to ask to stop the rich politicians fighting each other. They did that like we always do as Kenyans. And then after that, they returned to their homes waiting for the results. That's what happened with the general election 2007. That people go vote like it's always done. After that, you go back your homes and wait for the results to be counted and be announced. And we know what happened in 2007. That late Kibaki was announced as the winner, and Raila Odinga had lost. What happened then? The loser, there's always a winner and a loser. You cannot be that if you're a loser, that you don't accept that you've lost. It's wrong. Because that's where always Kenya problems are. Because it cannot be that always someone is saying, no, I cannot lose. In every competition, there is a loser and there is a winner. In 2007, Kibaki won and Raila lost. And we know very well that the president who is now sitting in Kenya, President Ruto, he was working with Raila Odinga, and they caused chaos. So many Kenyans lost their lives because of two selfish people who don't agree that they've lost. And they ganged up their people against us, the tribe, the Kikuyu tribe, which we are the majority in Kenya. We know we are so many millions. And hey, it's a blessing from God. Our forefathers decided that they're going to have a lot of children. Like my late grandfather had 3 wives in Muranga. 3 wives from my mom's side. A lot of children he had. Or he passed, but he have a lot of children. And from those children, the other children. Of course, we are so many millions of the Kikuyu tribe. We are. That means in any elections, when the Kikuyu tribe, we hold up together, which we're gonna do in the coming election, it's difficult to beat us. It's impossible because we are the majority, and that's a fact. Anyway, what happened? So there was Raila Odinga and Ruto ganging up against the Kikuyus, saying the Kikuyus couldn't have won. They ganged up tribes against the Kikuyus. We will never forget People say we forgave you, but we've never forgotten. Every time you continue killing any Kenyan, it doesn't matter from which tribe, we the Kikuyus, this wound of what you did to our people rise up, just like it's a fresh wound. Because you killed our people in Kenya. A lot of blood was shed. Let's continue on with the song. The song says, when Kimutu announced the results, the opposition started to complain. That was in 2007 then. You can call them the kind family, that they can never accept a defeat. Someone who never accepts to be defeated is a fool. Let me repeat there. Someone who don't accept to be defeated is a fool. The anger of fools increased and it exploded like fire. That's what happened 2007, 2008. There is someone called Raila Odinga, accompanied by Ruto. They didn't accept that they had lost. And when I just think about it, up to today, I get sick. And up to today, I still have so much love for my tribe Kikuyu. Because after all that, what we were done and what we lost so many people, our people were slaughtered. I don't know like which animal. After all that, later on, 2013, you saw President Uhuru Kenyatta coming and telling us, let's give this man called Ruto a chance. And we, the Kikuyus, we put all that aside that he had organized with all this, with our Kenyan people to be slaughtered, our Kikuyus. We listened to Uhuru Kenyatta. If someone can tell me, all Kenyans, all tribes, if there are people who have such a good heart, good-hearted people, it's the Kikuyus. I don't say that just because I'm a Kikuyu, but it's the fact that after all what we went through in 2007 to 2008, we still listened to Uhuru Kenyatta when he told us, let's give Ruto a chance. We did. And he became his vice president or deputy president. And then look again what happened. 2022. Rigathi Gachagua comes and tells us, you know what? Let's forget the past. Ruto is a good man. We listened again. What do we have today? Our people are still being killed. Homes are still being burnt around. Businesses for our people are still being damaged and vandalized. When shall we, the Kikuyus, learn that our people, innocent people, were killed in 2007, 2008? And there's a saying in Kikuyu that says, Mundu ndacokagia kara haria arumirwo. I don't understand why the Kikuyus forget that proverb. That you don't return your finger where it was bitten before. Mundu ndacokagia kara haria arumirwo. Because those some people that were so evil to our people in 2007, 2008, they are still the same people. You gave the chances and made sure that they're up there. How? Why? You know, when I just think about it, it's so annoying. But you know what? We the Kikuyus, God love us. Because we are still leading in Kenya as the majority. even after our people were so much slaughtered in 2007, 2008. When I talk about slaughter, I can tell you one thing. Yes, I was born in Luakabete, grew up in Luakabete, but like my late parents and many other people in Luakabete, we have lands in those Rift Valley areas because our great-grandparents, they bought those lands many years ago from late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. There so many Kikuyus that I know who have lands in the Rift Valley. Rogoro, that's the way we call it in Kikuyu. And they're not lazy. A lot of maize, beans, potatoes, or call it, name it. It's all gotten from there. That's where, like in Luakabete, people say in Luakabete there are a lot of rich people. Yes, because they're not lazy. They went to these areas of Rift Valley where nobody ever wanted to plant anything. They started for many years ago. They started to plant a lot of maize, a lot of beans, a lot of potatoes, a lot of, call it, name it, carrots. And they make sure they bring it and feed Nairobi. I know, like, in Luakabete, we have a lot of farmers. There are not only farmers in Luakabete. They took all their farming experiences and knowledge in the Rift Valley. And when there was all this, when the politicians targeted our Kikuyu communities in those Rift Valley areas, I know many that lost their lives there. Their homes were butchered, and those who had luck and were able to escape, they came back to Luakabete, for example, because they still have homes in Luakabete. But there were many, very many. And that's why when I talk about this, I have so much pain in my heart. Because not everybody was lucky. We lost a lot of lives in those areas. That's because you are being told you're not from these areas. Like in Luakabete, we welcome everybody. In Luakabete, you will meet all tribes. Even when I was growing up, we used to have people, the rich people in Luakabete, they used to build a lot of buildings. And those who used to rent those buildings were from Luo community, the Kalenjins, all these tribes. For years and years. We were never fighting with them and telling them they have to go back to the Rift Valley. This thing that came, it was brought by selfish, egoistic, greedy politicians. And up to today in Kenya, they are still there. They are still the same ones up there. They're still the same ones who are telling our Kenyan people, we will show you what to do. We will tell you this and that. It's high time for Kenyans to wake up and say, now it's enough. The politicians, they are greedy. They just think about themselves and their families and their friends. That's it. They don't care about you and me. They don't care if you have food on your table or not. They don't care if you have medicine in the hospitals or not. Because when they are sick, they go to the expensive, high-class Nairobi hospitals and Aga Khan hospitals, and they come to the European countries. That's what happens. They don't care about you. They don't care that they are going and vandalizing in, like I saw news today about Gikomba. Like today, all businesses were closed because there was demonstration. There was like the youth were fighting with the police today in Kenya because police yesterday, a police crazy just shooting a 17-year-old boy just because he's been gotten with bangi or something like that. Is that a reason to kill somebody who has given you the right to do that? I thought the work of the police is to protect. That's what I thought. Because if somebody is found doing something wrong on the wrong side, you're supposed to arrest that person and present that person in the court of law. You're not supposed to shoot and kill. So like today, Gikomba areas, because all the people are scared that their business is going to be vandalized. So all businesses were closed, which means a lot of people who live from day hand to bread every day, hand to hand every day, that they go, they sell, then they have money for a packet of maize flour or rice or something. They did not do any business. Some people maybe even won't have anything to eat this night that we're talking, because the businesses were closed in Gikomba areas today. It's high time for Kenyans to wake up. People are just taking these things just like, oh, it's a joke. When we are not careful as Kenyans, we can go back. We'll be taken by the greedy, selfish, egoistic politicians. We'll be taken back like the 2007, 2008. That's where we're going to head to. And even maybe to be more worse. I say God forbid. But the way things are going, some communities are getting angry day by day. Kenyans should wake up. It's high time you say, okay, like us, the Kikuyus, everybody knows we helped Ruto to get the presidency. Without the Kikuyu votes, he wouldn't have become a president of Kenya. Forget it. That's a fact. Without the mountain support, you can never be a president in Kenya. Mission impossible. People will ask, how did Moi rule 24 years? Because those years, nobody dared say anything, and the votes used to be stolen like crazy. Nobody believed he used to win all the times, no. But those years, we didn't have good internet during Moi time. We didn't have nothing. Yeah, the people are just being told he won. That's it. And you couldn't do anything about it. I'm sure he couldn't have won. Because the Kikuyus, we are the majority. The Central, we are the majority. Nobody should, we should not live in denial. That's the fact. So, let's continue to hear what the song says. Someone who never accepts to be defeated is a fool. I've read that. The answer of fool increased and exploded like fire. I've read that as well. It was nighttime, and they had planned and prepared themselves. Now, this is what happened in Kiaba. That it was nighttime, and they had planned and prepared themselves. The Kikuyu and Mobi community were ordered to leave their homes. Can you imagine? It's in the evening, it's in nighttime. And people, you are told already, you are a Kikuyu, you have to leave Rift Valley, go back. Go back to Wangige, go back to Gikoni, go back to Mwemuto, go back to Muranga, go back to Nyeri, go back to Kirinyaga. All the central people, move Rift Valley, go. That's what happened 2007, 2008. You're told, leave. It's nighttime. They already had planned how they're going to carry this horrific, terrible act. They had planned it. So you are told to leave, and people are already leaving. But guess what happened? They blocked the roads. So there are families carrying maybe a mattress, or I don't know what they're going, or even maybe carrying nothing. But when they reach somewhere, the roads were blocked. It's chaos. You cannot turn back. You cannot continue with the journey because the roads are blocked. So you are left there. I want to tell this story in English so that you can understand what our people went through, the pain they had to go through. Can you imagine? You're enclosed like this. You cannot continue with the journey. You cannot return where you have come from. So you are left there, blocked in the middle of the roads. The people had planned how they're going to carry this evil act. That women and children found rescue in churches because they thought, look, we are blocked. The only place we can be saved, the only place we cannot be harmed, the only place we're gonna be secured is running into the church. So there were women and children. They went to a church seeking for rescue because they thought that was the only place to be safe. They couldn't go back where they've come from. They couldn't continue because the roads are blocked. So they went to church. Our gamer community, that as the Kikuyus, we believe in God. Yes, we do. And so church was their only option of security. And they believed no one could harm them or eliminate them when they are hiding in the church. It was shocking to see children burned into charcoal. Or like sweet potatoes, the way you burnt sweet potatoes. That's the way our children were looking like. The preachers could not believe, because the moment they all went to the church to hide, these evil, wicked murderers lightened the church, burning everybody who was in that church. Innocent children who are there, crying mothers who are in there, they all perished. Just because of selfish, egoistic politicians who are up to today sitting, taking the high positions, ruling Kenyans after committed these horrific acts. It's still heartbreaking up to today that some of the criminals were able to leave the ICC and go back to Kenya. It's still heartbreaking, because most of us Kenyans who live in the West, we want their supporting that they stay in ICC. No justice was found, and it has never been found. Our people perished and they were forgotten. Our children perished, they were forgotten. It's heartbreaking, Kenyans. If you're there and you don't know what happened in 2007, 2008, tribal crashes, war in Kenya, I'm here to tell you it was not a joke. Not only Kenyans in Kenya were mourning, us Kenyans in the diaspora, we were crying as well every day, because we love our country, we love our Kenyan people. Nobody had the right to be killed that way. And nobody has the right to kill any Kenyan. The song says, how we wish they burnt all homes. How we wish they had stolen all the animals in those Rift Valley areas which belonged to the Central people. Because we would work again and buy others, instead of harming our innocent children and our innocent Central people. Which they could have told our people, you know what? We want your homes, we want your lands, we want your animals. We would have left for them. We, the Kikuyus, we are very active. We are not lazy, we work. Even in the diaspora, the Kikuyus, they are always working. We believe in working. We love working. We are not lazy. How we wish that these greedy politicians had taken everything that belonged to us in the Rift Valley and live our lives alone and not kill us, because that's what they did. And up to today, nobody has ever apologized, because they never said, oh, it was not me, it was not me, it was not me. Was it a ghost who planned the killings? who committed the killings? Who was it? When I remember this story, I just see it like it's fresh. Even if right now, from 2007, we are in 2025, it's 18 years ago. 18 years ago that our people were slaughtered like animals in the Rift Valley. The song says, a child who was nicknamed after his grandma or grandfather was eliminated. For us, the Kikuyus, we name our children first after the grandparents, and after that, the brothers and sisters. It's saying innocent kids, they were eliminated. Those kids, they were not on the ballot. Kids don't vote during general elections. They don't. Why harm them? Why kill them? And Kenyans forgot all this. Kenyans, we the Kikuyus, we decided to put this at the back after our people were so brutally murdered. The song says, when Jesus, Son of God, used to preach about children, he used to say, kingdom belongs to those who are like children. That Jesus who used to preach like that, the children are innocent. You can never harm or hurt children. They are innocent. They've done nothing wrong. Kids below 18 years, those are children. Why hurt them? When someone is over 18 and up, they know right and wrong. But below, those are still kids. Why harm them? Why hurt them? And you did. And you Kenyan politicians who committed all this, you're still standing with no shame in front of other Kenyans and trying to deliver I don't know what messages. Today you hold high positions with no shame and trying to tell Kenyans how good you are in building roads, fake promises. You tell how good you are. You're going to create businesses and works for our youths, which you don't. You can't, because you are not a leader. The song says, we pray that all those children, those who were brutally murdered, innocent kids, that they are in Jesus and God's hands, and that they became angels. And we'll meet them one day. All the innocent people in Kenya that have been murdered and killed, brutally killed by this government, or even the governments before, the blood of those that you've killed before will never go in vain. It will haunt you and your children and your generations to come. This you should take to the bank. That's why some of these leaders, they have wealth, yes. They have all wealth because they've stolen from the Kenyan people. But if you check them nicely, they're not happy. I think they even can't sleep nicely, because when you're not happy, you have worries in your head. You're not able to sleep. And we know health is very important. If you're not even able to sleep, you're not healthy. And these politicians, corrupt politicians, they are never able to sleep. They cannot sleep. God cannot allow them to sleep because they are evil. But the song is saying that those innocent children and innocent mothers and even fathers who are killed, and who are still being killed by the corrupt politicians, that they may be resting in God's and Jesus' hands, and that we'll meet them one day. This story must be forwarded to children and generations to come. This is what the song says. Without hiding it from them, so they can know that there are people who are like wild animals. The song says we should not hide these stories from the children or from the youths. They need to know that those people you see standing there, point them, tell them, they killed our people. They burned children and mothers in churches in the Rift Valley, in Kamba. Let us tell them. Let us tell them that the corrupt politicians are still ruling Kenya today after committing these horrific crimes. We should not hide anything from our children. If you're there, you're a mother, you're a father, don't be shy to tell your children what happened in 2007, 2008 in Kenya. You know, places like, for example, in 1992, I was in Form 2, I do remember, when there was these people tried to throw away Moi, and there was also commotion. Also, some people lost their lives as well. But this 2007, 2008, it was terrible. 1992 was terrible too, but there was no one to report. All these things were being done, hidden in Kenya. So the world, the international community could not know about it. In 2007, 2008, international community got some news, but not everything, not the details. Because if you are there and you are seen with the camera, you are also being eliminated. So it was very difficult to get the real stories, what really happened. A lot of people lost their lives. And we Kenyans, we should be very, very angry. Let us just try to put our eyes backwards and look. The people that committed those crimes, today they are standing in front of podiums. They are the ones who are standing up and talking to you Kenyans, and you're busy listening, clapping your hands for them. Why? You want them to commit another crime like 2007, 2008? Is that the time that Kenyans gonna wake up? Why we all Kenyans, we can't send all these people home? All of them. Because there were many. If we don't do that, the normal wananchi, you and me, we are the ones to suffer. Those politicians, they have stolen so much from you Kenyans. When there's any crashes or there's fightings, you can't reach these kind of people. They live in rich areas. You cannot reach them. They have so much money, they just book the next flight and fly their children, their wives, their relatives, their friends out of the country, and you are left there to fight each other. It's high times Kenyans to wake up. It's crazy that we've never learned. Even after 2007, 2008, Kenyans have never learned that you're still giving those criminals positions, high positions. And you know very well, they're just greedy. They just think about themselves. They don't care about you. They don't care how you're doing. They don't care if you're healthy or not. They don't care if your children have a job or not, or they will get. They don't care. The only thing they can think is maybe they can take your youth to Gulf countries to work like slaves for peanuts money, because they are also being given some money by those rich Gulf countries. They give maybe the countries money as well. And there you are. You as a mother, you've educated your child so hard. You've sold your piece of land. You've sold your cows, your goats, your chicken, just to educate your kids. And later on, after your kids have worked so hard in school, got good education, at the end, the only job they can get is to sweep on the streets of Nairobi. It's heartbreaking. And there are parents still giving these greedy, selfish leaders positions, voting for them. We should say no as Kenyans. They've stolen enough from you. You should not give them any more chance. You should send them all home. Because most of these politicians, they were there during, I was born in the early 70s. If I mention all these, they were there as I was growing up. I grew up hearing them. I went to school hearing them. Went to secondary school hearing them. Went to Germany hearing them. Now in Sweden, still hearing about them. They're still there. And they've changed nothing in the country. It's even more poverty than before. So many poor people in Kenya nowadays. So many. Because everything is being stolen from you. The politicians, the only thing they want from you is your vote. That's it. They don't want you to have a good school. They don't want you to have a good hospital. They don't care. And those who cares, look for example, the Muranga MP, Didi Nyoro. He's now pushed out of his position that he had in the budget committee. He's kicked out. You know, the politicians want somebody who don't care about civilians, about wananchi. Then you'll be a good friend to the government. But the moment you try to be good or to do the right thing, you're out. When shall Kenyans learn that we need change? We need new faces. Right now, all those greedy politicians, they are meeting, planning. Oh, what are we going to have? Right now, it's like crazy. You know, right now is that, oh, Raila is Raila staying by Ruto? And if he does, he's there asking, give me this position, give me this position, give me this position. He's greedy. And it's crazy that Kenyans never learn that Raila Odinga is selfish just like the rest. He's greedy just like the rest politicians. And you're there thinking, oh, we need Raila. Who needs him? You don't. It's someone who's been pretending to fight for the rights for Kenyans. But he still wants people to live in the slums because he's interested of their votes. Someone like Ruto, you see what we Kikuyus, like for example me, I would never have voted for Ruto if it was not two people. I blame anything that I've ever listened to. I blame on two people, Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua, because they brought for us Ruto. And I'm not alone. We're the Kikuyus. Without those two having told us that Ruto has changed, he's nice, I would never have listened. When I think about 2007, 2008, I even before never wanted to hear that man called Ruto. Never. But there was Uhuru Kenyatta, who was from us, the Kikuyus, telling us, please let us give him a chance. And that's why this round, the Kikuyus, you have to investigate yourselves. If somebody is being told, let's go this direction, let's follow that one. Let us not be, yes. Let us not be like the Luos. The Luos always, Raila, yes. Raila say left, they go left. Raila say right, they go right. Crazy. And that's why Raila made his Luo people to be slaves. We Kikuyus, we can never allow to be told again, only that one. Yes, we can listen. The moment a name is brought, let us do our thorough investigation. Who is that person? What has he been saying? We have to do ourselves the real investigation. Yes, we have to vote as one block. We can never allow the gamer community to be divided again. then it will be naive. If we do that, games will be played on us. We have to vote as one block because our votes are the majority. And then we have to decide who we're going to give. We don't have to elect all those old politicians who've been there for years and years. We can look somewhere else. Someone new face. Kenyans need new faces. We have so many well-educated Kenyan youths. We have. We can look, who is that? Someone that have been behaving properly. Someone that is there for the Kenyans, who will work for the people. We should not just wait and be told this one and that one. And when you look nicely at that person has been in government as well and has never done anything. I see Ken Masharia. Thank you, Ken, for coming. Yes, as I have said, today is a politician song, which is about Kiambaa, the cries of Kiambaa. You know, it's heartbreaking when we remember all that happened those years. Anyway, the song is saying, for the last part, that we should forward these stories to our children and grandchildren, generations to come. They need to know about this. All those that lost their children and their family members and their friends, they also lost their properties. May God of Jacob continue to reward them with many more. That means if you lost children, grandchildren, may God give you more children or grandchildren. If you lost your properties during the 2007, 2008, may God open doors for you. May God continue to give you more. Continue working hard so God can continue to open more doors for you. This song, it's a very, very touching song. I'm sure all Kikuyus know this song. The song is called Kiriro Kiambaa. It's by Muigai Joroge, our talented artist, and Sofina. It's a touching song. And that's why for me, I called it Cries of Kiambaa in Kenya. Yes, that's the song I've prepared for you. I hope you like it. And as I always say, this channel, we do speak in English because we want people to understand all the songs that are sung by the Kikuyus. They're usually sung in Kikuyu language, but not everybody understands the Kikuyu language. So I'm here. If you're there and you don't understand Kikuyu, this song talks about what happened in 2007, 2008. So if you have no clue, you've never heard about it, I hope you'll hear about it. And please, let us be very, very careful, we as Kenyans, so we don't go back like in 2007, 2008. But you should not forget the criminals that committed those evil acts. Watch them. Don't give them any positions anymore. Send them all home. Usually they should be in ICC. That's where they should be rotting by now. Just because of corruption. A lot of witnesses, they perished. They were gone. And that's why the case was like that. But we know some cases can still be reopened. What can I say as Kenyans? Let's not allow politicians to divide us, because it's us Kenyans, the normal wananchi, who will suffer. It's us Kenyans, the normal wananchi, who will die. Let us be clever as Kenyans. The politicians, their work is to steal from us, the Kenyans. That's what most of the politicians do in Kenya. So let us hold hands together as Kenyans. What can I say? That song is beautiful. It's very touching. I hope you like it. And please, if you haven't touched the subscribe button, please do it. I'll appreciate. You can like, comment, and share as well. And we continue with this journey. I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, which is 8. It's 8 in Sweden. It's 10 o'clock Kenyan time, which will be in Sweden. It's 8, or German time, it's 8 o'clock p.m. I'll be back tomorrow, and we see which other song I've prepared for you. And we continue with this journey. I really love what I do, translating these songs from Kikuyu language to English. It's fun for me. I really like it. I enjoy it because we learn 1, 2, 3 things from all these songs. These songs, they are to inspire us, to motivate us. These songs are also to teach us, give us piece of advice as well. All right. I thank you all so much for those who are listening at the back and those who will come to listen. Thank you so much, Ken Mashara. May God bless you. And we catch up again tomorrow, same time. Thank you and bye-bye.